the sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. Floors bright, it runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raging voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits roll. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. In Florida's field, real night band.
All right, welcome back here as we roll along into the Space and Treasure Coast edition of the Blitz here as we roll along on our 4 shows tonight here on our Tuesday night edition here on FortHSFootball.com and the FortHSFootball.com social media networks. Appreciate everybody joining us here as we roll along here. And, boy, how you doing, my man?
It's been a very interesting week.
Oh, man. An interesting week indeed here as we roll along here in our Space and Treasure Coast edition of the Blitz. And, again, a lot going on. And week 4 was definitely interesting along this particular section of the state here from Brevard County all the way down to Martin County. And we'll talk about it here in just a moment here as we roll along into our Blitz Lines. As we take a look at it here, Mark Cannon says Vero Beach rolls the show. Mark Cannon ain't wrong there. Vero Beach, we're definitely rolling around. And Nolly said he made spaghetti with meatballs, garlic bread, and roasted asparagus tips. All right, I'm coming over to your house, Nolly. Just save me some.
Yeah, I'm on my way too.
I'll get in my UFO. The UFO that's right here. And there's Emery Smith. He's like, Mark Vero Beach has been really good. Yes, Vero Beach has been really good this year, but as we roll along talking about the games here, South Fork totally dominated Legacy, Port St. Lucie Legacy, the new school this year, totally took care of business there. Martin County rolled over against Fort Pierce Westwood. How about this? Merritt Island took care of business against Palm Bay. Merritt Island 2-2. But Merritt Island, if you look at Merritt Island, how close they could be to 4-0. We're going to have head coach Tyler Murray joining us from Merritt Island here in the interview here in just a few minutes here. But it really, especially with Merritt Island, it's really interesting. But I think you're just points away from being 4-0.
Yeah, and it's less than 10 points being 4-0.
Yeah.
One of those games going to 2 overtimes, too.
Yeah, so we'll talk to Coach about the start there for Merritt Island. Again, a tough schedule there for the Mustangs to start out the season, and not only with Cocoa, but also with DeLand and a couple other games as well. But we'll talk about that here coming up here with Coach here in a few minutes here. Vera at Titusville, and Titusville, how about that? The Terriers pulled off a big win right there on Vera. Vera had that hot start, especially getting that week 1 win against Rockledge, but can't seem to take care of the same business against Titusville, and the Terriers came up big with a win there.
Yeah, Titusville coming up with that 28-14 win over Vera. Yeah, Titusville, they're sneaking up when you least expect them to. And that was one of those times where we thought Viola would kind of take it, but then Titusville just somehow comes up with a win.
No, absolutely. And of course, Cocoa totally demolishes Heritage. And, a lot of people thought, maybe Heritage had a chance there, but Cocoa just whatever was bothering Cocoa the first 3 weeks of the season. They took care. They obviously they just riddled they took care of whatever the bugs were, and they sent them flying away in that game and pitched a shutout in the process on Heritage.
Yeah, this year's Cocoa team reminds me a lot of last year's Venice team. Where you couldn't figure them out the first 2 weeks, and then Venice finally started rolling along, and Cocoa is about to do the same thing.
I think Coco's about to do the same thing here. I'm interested to see what's going to happen here as we roll along here. But I think the Tigers, especially that was a good bounce back win, especially after all the struggles the first 3 weeks. That was a good bounce back win right there. And how about a slugfest for First Academy Orlando and Oak Galley? 12-8. Goodness gracious! I think they might have been playing baseball out in the back parking lot instead.
Yeah, First Academy, they really put that defense on O'Galley, and O'Galley could not get anything going on offense. But shout out to First Academy for winning that game. That was a welcome surprise for them.
No, absolutely. Of course, now First Academy on a 2-game win streak after starting off 0-2. But if you look at it with First Academy, and we'll talk more about it in Central Florida tomorrow night about them, but really that could have been a team that could have walked into that game at 3-0 versus being 1-2. But now O'Galley sitting there at 2-2, and it doesn't get any easier for O'Galley this week, because this week they've got Cocoa on deck, and that game is at Cocoa, so that it's not it doesn't get any easier for the Commodores.
Yeah, Cocoa, you just caught them at the wrong time, and I'm thinking O'Galley, they're going to be in a lot of trouble this week.
No, and that's my concern right there. Is especially after what Cocoa did to Heritage, I'm kind of like, okay, here we go. This is probably that. All of a sudden now, like you said, when you compare it, that's a good comparison right there to last year's Venice team that started off, I believe, 4-1, but we couldn't figure them out in terms of it was points. They were scoring a lot of points, but also giving up a lot of points. We just couldn't figure out what they were doing. But second half of the season is where they turned the Jets on, and then took care of business on the way to that state title.
Yeah. Cocoa did the same thing this year. I mean, they were scoring points, but they just couldn't stop anybody.
And it really comes down. It really does come down to the end of the day. How do you fight through adversity, and that goes for any team at this particular point. Because really, for a lot of teams at this particular point, there's still a lot of teams. I'm going to say, because we got it coming up here in our series here, the playoff roadmaps for the different for all 8 classes. We'll have rural as well. Rural is going to be a little different, but we'll really break down the districts like Chris has been doing here. It's really the teams are broken down into 3 categories here. You're either on the highway, meaning you're en route to that playoff spot. You're in traffic. You're trying to get to the exit. You're trying to get to the on ramp, or you're stuck in the parking lot.
Yeah, and the theme matches for what we do, the drive to state, and we got the road map. So why not have fun with the comparisons and see how they shape up?
No, absolutely, of course. And next week we'll start Drive the State, the Drive the State edition of the Blitz here, as we get ready to roll with the FHA playoff rankings from Max Prep. So, I gotta say this. I think we're gonna see a few differences. I just kind of glanced at what they're doing with volleyball. What's on volleyball? There's some similarities, but there's some differences. What the FHA does compared to what the Max Preps on MaxPreps.com. So, and this year football should be very similar in terms of what's on Max Preps to what the FHA Max Preps power rankings are. In years past, people were like, "Well, that's just nothing like what was on Max Preps," and that's because it was the Cal Preps Freeman rankings. Well, Max Preps does no longer uses that, so we should see a similarity in terms of how the rankings compare there. And we'll also look at our Florida Power Rankings Index rankings and see how it compares up to what the FHA has. And then we'll start comparing and look and see what Max Preps has, because I think like maybe those are the best indicators along the way here.
Yeah, and Emily's been wondering about the shows for next week. The Drivers' Day show coming on at 5:30, I think.
And that's also contingent on the FHA when they release those first set of rankings. I have a feeling we'll take a look at the Max Preps ones. We'll kind of like, okay, this should be the base to start with, and then we'll see what the FHA puts out, and hopefully that will be we'll be pretty close to what what comes out. But I'm looking forward to doing the Drive the State, talking the playoffs and breaking that down coming up here, starting next week, because it is that time of year. We're hitting the midpoint.
Yeah, and our playoff roadmap coming up, you're gonna want to see that. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see how these districts shape up, and some of them are not so simple. So
no, they're not. And if you're not a season ticket member, go to FloridaHSFootball.com/season ticket, and you can either subscribe on a yearly basis at $59.99 or join monthly at $7.99. You'll be able to see that content that we're going to be posting here coming up here. With the playoff roadmaps, and we'll probably do them every couple of weeks here as we go. Once we get through week 6, we'll kind of do probably a refresher on those districts, because we'll have more of an idea after those week 6 games with the districts. But it's going to be a lot of fun here. And by the way, before we get to our break here, we got to recognize our week 3 player of the week from the Space Treasure Coast on the Blitz here, Rico Terrega. I'm sorry, from Holy Trinity. I'm sorry if I butchered the last name. Some of these last names are harder than I can say, but Chris, how about this? 16 of 21, 367, and 6 touchdowns in that 47-0 win over Port St. Lucie in week 3.
Yeah, very impressive win over Port St. Lucie, and Holy Trinity doing a fantastic job this year. Port St. Lucie, they're not what they used to be, but still, to do that against Port St. Lucie, that's pretty impressive.
No, absolutely. Congratulations to Rico. We'll be right back here after our 2-minute timeout, and then we'll have head coach Tyler Murray from Merritt Island joining us here for the interview here on Space and Treasure Coast edition of the Blitz. We'll be right back.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Touchdown! Juggled and caught!
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought, if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it, because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, it's a great chance that I can do it. First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
All right, welcome back here to the Space and Treasure Coast edition of the Blitz here on FloatingChestFootball.com. And joining us now for the interview is head coach Tyler Murray of the Merritt Island Mustangs. Coach, appreciate you joining us here on the Blitz. And Coach, what a start for y'all this year in terms of the way things have gone here. And kind of give us, after 4 weeks, kind of give us a synopsis of how your Mustangs have been, in your view, because I know that, when we look at it, y'all are a matter of just points away from versus being 2-2 versus being 4-0. And I mean, this team has got a lot of grit and a lot of fight in them. Oh, can't hear you, Coach. I don't know if we got the audio connected right or not, because I cannot hear Coach at all here. Yeah, we got you now. There we go.
Cool. All right. No, it was two dog fights. One was a double overtime thriller. That ended up on the other side of it. Very well could have went the other way for us. And then obviously good old fashioned shootout with DeLand, 57-51, and we had a chance to go win that one at the end and just came up short. But the kids, in both of those games, we especially in DeLand, we were down by 14 at one point in the second half, and these kids didn't show any quit. They showed a ton of resilience, and that's just a testament of our coaches and how hard those kids have worked. And they understand that you're never out of the fight, and you just keep on putting your head down and stick around. You never know, you might have a chance to win a game.
When you look back on this, and of course, obviously, the remainder of the season, what do you tell the kids here? At this point, I know you can't, go back on the past, obviously, but what lessons have you learned from these games that can imply, that way, hey, okay, well, we still got the meat of the schedule, which is that district schedule left. How do you handle it with that? Because we know how district games can go. Here, you could slip up in one, and the course of the season goes in a different direction.
Yeah, for sure. No, we I mean, this was intentional, man. We beefed up the schedule. I think we have 6 or 7 opponents in the top 100 at the beginning of the year on our schedule. So it was intentional. We wanted to get our guys ready to play some of the best talent in the state. We got another couple of opponents. You got Ed White up there, the top 100. Titusville's top 100 at the start of the year. Carrollwood Days top 100. So we got a bunch of teams that are going to get us playoff ready. And then our everything we want is still in front of us. We win our 4 district games. We make the playoffs. And then we'll see what happens from there. But, I mean, this team reminds me a ton of the 2021 team and, how gritty they are, how many guys we have that have been here for 3 or 4 years. They're battle tested, and those guys have been playing for 2 and 3 years. And, I mean, I understand that you're never out of the fight.
Oh, absolutely.
I had a glimpse at your roster, Coach, and most of your offensive stars are juniors. Talk about how you're handling that with the junior class, and it's really impressive on what they're doing on offense, especially with the schedule that you guys have.
Yeah, no doubt. We've been playing well. Our defense has been playing well as well. Against Cocoa, they forced like 5 turnovers, I think. I mean, had a couple turnovers against DeLand. I mean, we're really playing complementary football through and through. Special teams has been there. So I mean, it's really good early on. We had this conversation as our coaching staff is really good that we are in playoff form as far as complementary football in week 2 and 3, week 1, 2, and 3, where we're ready. I mean, that's why we wanted to do it early. We wanted to play the best competition that we could on the schedule as soon as we could, battle test our kids, and get ready to make a deep run of the playoffs.
No, absolutely. And of course, when you talk about battle tested, obviously St. Cloud this week, Ed White, the following week, and then of course, O'Galley, Titusville, Carrollwood, and obviously finish up with Vera. But Coach, talk about your quarterback. I know I'm probably going to butcher his last name. If you can say the last name for me. Kevin Verpel. I mean, I'm just impressed with already 4 games, 1,100 yards passing and 10 touchdowns just against 3 interceptions. So that's really almost, averaging about 2.5 touchdowns a game, in 4 games. That's pretty impressive right there.
Oh, absolutely. No, he's a true gunslinger. I mean, he's all the arm talent in the world. He's developing us so much better this year as a leader and really taking ownership of the team. And I mean, he can't do that stuff without our offensive line. We can't can't do anything about those guys. You had Joey Sonnenberg at center, Alex Schaefer at left guard, Caden Chmielewski right guard, Cam Clements at right tackle, and then Andrew Metcalf and Diego Alford both playing guard and tackle for us. So those guys really make us go. And then we have a dangerous group of receivers that can win in one-on-one and get open for the guys. So, I mean, this is a very good group. We got Dontarius Robinson, who's up. He had 10 catches, 154 yards, and honestly should have been 4 touchdowns against the land. He came up on the 1-yard line twice. So, I mean, he was our number one option there. And then Femi Howard came out last week against Palm Bay and had over 100 yards receiving. And at our other outside guy, and we got 2 guys in the slot, Drew Sarver and KJ Hamilton, who both play slot. And then obviously everybody knows about our big tight end, Deshaun Thomas, who's I think our second leading receiver right now, as well as a dominant force in the blocking game. So overall, I mean, we returned out of all those guys I just named, 9 out of 10 of them. Oh, sorry, 10 out of 11 of them played last year for us. The only new guy out of that group is Drew Sarver. He came over from another school. But I mean, that's a testament to what those guys are doing, that when you guys stick together and they gel, I mean, a lot of them have been playing together and playing with me since they were 10 and 12 years old and 7-on-7 and elsewhere. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a testament of those guys sticking together and playing together for so long.
No, absolutely. And Coach, I mean, talk about coaching in Brevard County. I mean, obviously this is your alma mater as well. So, I mean, just being able to, with everything that happens, with recruiting these days, not necessarily recruiting in the college ranks, but, all the open transfers where kids are moving around schools. I mean, y'all seem to keep y'all's guys home. I mean, talk about that, just to, being able to do that and keep the guys.
It's a testament to our coaching staff for sure. Our coaching staff and our kids, the biggest thing about the open transfer rule is kids recruit kids, right? So that's what happens is someone leaves or someone's unhappy. I mean, it might be a testament to what we have new starters every week. I mean, we have a constant competition every week during practice. Now you got some guys that win that competition week to week, but I'm a firm believer in if next man up. I mean, you got to fight for everything you want, not only in football, but in life. And that's my philosophy. So those kids battling out and shoot. If a kid has a really good week at practice, guess what? We're going to put that kid on the field and see what he's got that week. Now, obviously, you have your guys that are pretty dang good football players and usually don't lose out in competitions throughout the week. But there are times that, someone has a bad week or, hey, he's sick. All right, next man up. Let's get the other guy in. And then we find creative ways to get guys on the field. We create some packages offensively. But really, it's a testament to how much hard work these guys put in the offseason. Our team grinds, and they are together, and they are plugged in. We had 59 guys this summer with perfect attendance during summer workouts. 59. We have 85 on the team, roughly 87, maybe around there somewhere. So, I mean, well over 80% of our kids were 100% at workouts. That's a testament to those kids working hard and our coaching staff.
Impressive.
Yeah, Coach, you're in an area of where the space program is a very big thing with a lot of the other schools like Titusville and Astronaut. Talk about the space program and how it ties into your program and the school and the community.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, all my grandfather worked for the Space Center. He was one of the engineers on the Apollo program. So I mean, it's through and through in my blood. Yeah, through and through in my blood. All my uncles work out at the Space Center. My grandfather retired there, and so like I said, so it's through and through in my blood. So this community really thrives off it. I mean, especially with Blue Origin and SpaceX coming along. I mean, it's really brought a new life to the community. And a lot of money's pouring in here. Now, I wouldn't say that we have quite seen the results of the Space Center and the boom in the space age right now. But I believe in, there's, for instance, North Merritt Island, there's four new neighborhoods getting built right now.
Wow.
And typically a lot of those families that are moving in they're not, high school age. Every once in a while you get some high school age kids that are moving in. But for the most part, it's going to be in 6, 7, 10 years as we're going to see a major influx of families and kids coming to Merritt Island and really boosting up us, Merritt Island, Titusville, all the space centered schools is where we're going to see the big input. The 3 neighborhoods. I mean, there's 300 houses built in North Merritt Island over the last 2 years.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
wow.
I can relate to the space program because I grew up in Texas, right across the street from the Johnson Space Center. So I know pretty much about the space program. So
Exactly. It goes in waves for sure.
No, absolutely. And of course, one final question here, Coach. Obviously, big game this week for y'all. You got St. Cloud coming in. And so, I mean, what is it about the Bulldogs? I know they're coming off a loss against Osceola. Obviously, their nemesis over there in Osceola County. But, they're making the trek over to y'all this week. So, I mean, what's the big thing getting ready for the Bulldogs coming into to the O-Dome?
Yeah, the big thing, it is homecoming week. So they're obviously with homecoming, there's a ton of distractions going on with, Spirit Week, pep rallies, all that stuff. So big thing for us is just making sure our kids are staying focused and our routine stays the same. And they got this one circled. We went over there last year and we were in an overtime thrill and we knocked them off on their homecoming night. So I know they've had this one circled since 7-on-7 during the off season and everything else. But a big, really just come out and execute the game plan. Jarvis Howell has been a phenomenal football player for us. Number 0, Mike linebacker. He's leading the team in tackles. He has been Space Coast Daily said that he had 30 tackles against Cocoa, which I can believe it. The kid's been all over the field. So yeah, he's the leader of our defense. And then you got Ethan Holt at safety, who's been playing safety and linebacker, Kamar Fielder, Vontae Peterson, Zach Olson, and Roman Mingo backing up our secondary. And they came out and threw the ball a ton against Osceola. I don't know if we're going to see the same thing. I know they threw a bunch against us last year. But then, obviously watching the other games, they came out and tried to run the ball against Point Siena, Innovation, and Pine Ridge. So it'll be interesting to see what game plan they come out in, if they're going to air raid it out and do what they did last year, or they're coming out and run it. Either way, our kids are going to prepare. And we tell our kids all the time, you're never playing against the opponent. You're playing against us. If we can limit the mistakes, play execute, play Mustang football, and it doesn't matter who lines up against us, we're going to have a chance to win the game at the end of the day.
No, absolutely. And Coach, best of luck to y'all this week, and best of luck to y'all the rest of the way of the season. We'll be definitely keeping an eye on those Mustangs and seeing what happens here as we get into the back half of the season. But appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule and talking to us here on our Space and Treasure. Thank you so much, Coach.
Sure. Go Mustangs.
Thank you. Good luck this week, Coach. Appreciate it. And that was Head Coach Tyler Murray of the Merritt Island Mustangs joining us here on the Space and Treasure Coast edition of the Blitz. Really good interview there, Chris.
Oh yeah, and Merritt Island is one of my favorite teams to keep track of, and it's been a lot of fun watching what they do.
No, absolutely. And of course, I saw something that I think I want to say it was either Nolly or Mark Cannon. Nolly said it's like it was Nolly. So he said you have to fight for everything you want. Yes, absolutely, indeed. And we're going to take a 2-minute break here, and we're going to come back and we're going to have our fan questions and comments, and then we'll have the pick 6 for week number 5 here on FloatHSFootball.com on the Space and Treasure Coast edition of Blitz. I'm Josh Rosen. That's Christopher Legg. We'll be right back right after this.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Juggled and caught.
All right, welcome back here to the Space and Treasure Coast edition of the Blitz here. Appreciate everybody joining us here tonight as we roll along here with our Blitz shows here on FloorHSFootball.com and the FloorHSFootball.com social media networks here. Tell everybody about us, what our shows here. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube at FloorHS Football, and then hit that like button on our shows here, because the more likes, it helps the YouTube algorithm help more people find us. And then also hit that notification bell, and that way y'all can get notifications when wherever we post new videos, go live, or whatever may happen. You will find, you'll be able to know what we're doing on our YouTube channel at Florida HS Football. So, well, the comments have been apparently they've been talking about Atlanta for some reason in the chat tonight. I don't know how Atlanta got to how Atlanta became somewhere on the Space Coast or Treasure Coast.
Yeah, I don't know either. But Atlanta, they do have a weird transit system there, and I've dealt with it several times in the last couple of years.
No, it's one of those.
That's my sentiments to that.
Mark Hannis says Billy could be my son. Oh man. Well, it's I gotta say it is time for our favorite part of the show. Well, I mean, all parts of the show are my favorite, but this is really my most favorite part of the show here. It is time for the Pick Six for week number 5. As we roll along here, and we'll bring it up here with our first set of games. Our first game, 6 games, 6 picks, 1 winner. Bayside at Centennial. Centennial is a 13-point favorite over the Bears. Centennial, 88% chance of winning that game. Chris, what are your thoughts here?
Bayside, good program, but Centennial is a much better program. Give me Centennial.
Man, I really, I'm kind of curious to see what with Centennial, what is going, what they're doing here. Bayside, man, I was hoping having some hopes here for Bayside this year, but it's not panned out so far in 5 games so far in the SSA Atlantic League, and we're gonna start seeing some of the first rankings from the SSA from their playoff rankings coming up here this week. So we should see what that's going to look like here. But when I go, I'm gonna roll with Centennial as well. I've got my doubts about Bayside here at this particular point, and I don't know what to do with it. And it just there's not a lot of answers for me in terms of having to do that. And Emory, I've not gotten any notifications that I've got a low signal on my end. We did drop the frame rate. We did drop the settings down from 1080 to 720 to make sure that we're actually getting out on a clear signal, just to make sure that everything is good for everybody, because I know sometimes 1080 may not necessarily work, but I not gotten anything that's saying that we're off there. So we're all green check marks on our end in terms of our streaming service. But yeah, maybe Emory, I don't know why it buffered there on you guys, because I didn't get anything saying it was causing the issue here, but I appreciate y'all letting us know. But Reno is taking Bayside, which I gotta wonder why he's taking Bayside, but since Reno's never really around anymore these days, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those games that it's a coin flip for him.
Okay.
So Emory, the YouTube ads. Okay, so the YouTube ads. What we're trying to figure out a balance here in terms of the YouTube ads, because those ads actually pay us as well. So we're trying to figure out a balance with YouTube. There's some different settings as well. So, but YouTube, we're trying to figure out. But the thing is that if we go too conservative, we don't make any money off our shows. If we go too overwhelming, y'all are gonna see more ads, not less of the show. So we asked for YouTube to put it on a balance, but it sounds like their balance and what I'm thinking balance is not necessarily matching up. their balance may be a little too hot and heavy. So we're trying to figure it out. Just give us a chance here as we work through this here in terms of the settings here. So it's the ads are a little bit more frequent tonight. I'm trying to figure out the YouTube ad settings, but so those ads actually pay us as part of the revenue program. So we want to make sure that y'all understand that. So appreciate y'all understanding here as we roll along here. All right, our second pick here is Woodford County, Kentucky, coming down to the Sunshine State and playing Palm Bay Heritage. And Woodford County is a 4-point favorite over Heritage, giving them a 65% chance to win this game. Chris, what do you think here?
Palm Bay Heritage, they've been a tough team to figure out lately.
Yeah.
But yet they're one of the top teams in the region. And Woodford County did a very good program up in Kentucky. But give me Woodford, Kentucky. Give me Woodford County. Give me a touchdown win by them.
Ooh, he's going for a touchdown here. I'm going with Woodford as well. Reno's going Woodford as well. I feel like after what happened with them last week against Cocoa, this is a prove me wrong game. So if any Heritage fans are out there, but this is a prove me wrong game. Prove me wrong that I'm discounting y'all already out of the way, because I like what Martin County is doing, and y'all are in the same district. And if Martin County is looking pretty good here, y'all are in trouble for that district title this year. That's just my say. That's
I've kind of alluded to it in our article.
So, yep. We'll that see in the playoff roadmap as we come up here. All right, our next game up on the docket here is Bishop Moore at Melbourne Central Catholic. Bishop Moore, a 26-point favorite over MCC, with Melbourne Central Catholic 2% chance of winning. Bishop Moore, 98% chance of winning this game here.
I think it's going to be a lot closer than the computer thinks, but I still think Bishop Moore wins comfortably. It's a better program right now. They're more organized. So give me Bishop Moore.
No, absolutely. Bishop Moore. I'm going Bishop Moore as well here. Bishop Moore with this as well. Reno is rolling with Bishop Moore as well. I think Bishop Moore just has got more firepower. I love their running back. I actually got it. Let me pull it up here because I've got his name here. I just got to pull it up here. It's slipping my mind, but they've got a really good, strong running back here. And let me pull up because he was on our Player of the Week voting for Central Florida last week. That would be Amir Johnson. Yes, I was going to say that name, but I was just trying to make sure that I actually think he had 144 yards on 25 carries last week. So Amir Johnson's going to be a big X factor there in that game. So give me Bishop Moore over Melbourne Central Catholic here in this game here. All right, our next game up on the for the show here is Dr. Wohin Garcia, 3-1 at Martin County. Yeah, the computer is giving Dr. Garcia an 8-point favorability over Martin County, 76% chance of win for the Bulldogs over the Tigers, but there's still a lot I don't know about Dr. Garcia, but I like what Martin County's been doing with Rod Harris. I like what they did. We just had Coach Harris on a couple weeks ago here on our show. This one's hard. This one is hard here, as Reno's pick is going to be Garcia.
And by the way, that Garcia football graphic didn't exist 2 hours ago.
I know.
Give me Martin County, and then give me Martin County. But I don't agree with the computer.
I don't agree with the computer on this one. I don't disagree with how the numbers came out this week on this one. But the point, I just got to roll with it. I'm going Martin County in my picks this week. Give me the Tigers for the win. And it looks like a lot of people are going Martin County in the picks as well. So we'll see what happens there as well. All right, week number 5, still in the books here. We got in the docket here. We got St. Cloud at Merritt Island. The computer is giving St. Cloud a 4-point favorability. I disagree with the computer on this one, Chris. I like what Merritt Island's doing. I think Merritt Island's played a tougher schedule, but it's just the way some of these games have gone. And I really like what the Mustangs are doing here.
This is a toss-up for me, too. St. Cloud, they're doing a fantastic job. But give me Merritt Island.
I think St. Cloud's going to be upset because obviously you heard Coach talk about it here. You know, they Merritt Island went over there and knocked them off on their homecoming and last year, and St. Cloud probably is it's Merritt Island's homecoming. They want to look around and do it, do the reverse. But I'm Merritt Island. Reno is going St. Cloud here, so I believe you said Merritt Island as well. I correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right, Merritt Island, and indeed it is for Chris here, and everything, and appreciate everybody on the graphics here. It's part of our graphics package. It's something that we've been looking at adding into the show, and finally got it incorporated here this week for our picks here. So definitely like having this. Gives you all a nice visual, makes it look cleaner as we roll along here. And our sixth and final game is O'Galley 2-2 at Cocoa 2-2, and boy, Cocoa coming off that big win over Palm Bay Heritage. O'Galley, sorry, this is probably man, oh man, Cocoa, you're catching Cocoa at the wrong time, O'Galley. I am sorry, Cocoa, a 14-point favorite here.
Yeah, I get the feeling it's going to be a big rout for Cocoa in this one too. And O'Galley, great program, but my goodness, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago what this game is going to be, I would have said O'Galley.
But right now, after what they did last week, the Palm Bay Heritage, I'm going Cocoa. Mark Cannon's going O'Galley. Mark Cannon, you're right.
Like I said, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago about this game, I would have picked O'Galley. But now, no chance in hell.
Noli says O'Galley with the upset. He says cook Cocoa while they're down. Man, oh man.
Well, Cocoa is not down, by the way, Noli.
I don't know if they're necessarily down. I think they're in a situation where they're just having to deal with everything that they've got, coming at them. So, but that's just the way it's going to be. But no. Mark Cannon says no chance in hell. I don't know if it's no chance in hell situation. But, I mean, the computer says they have 11% chance of winning this game. So I mean, that's double digits. Actually, pretty good if you're a team going up against Cocoa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With that said, here as we wrap up the pick six here, and if I can get the screen to go back to what, come on now, thank you. That's our pick six there for week number 5. And any final thoughts, Chris, as we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Cocoa game, and I'm curious to see what they do with O'Galley.
No, absolutely. I'm curious to see as well. Noli says the pendulum swings both ways. So he's right about that. The pendulum can swing both ways. But anyways, we got to wrap it up here. We've got our next show coming up here, which is the South Florida Blitz. We'll have head coach Mike Manasco coming on from Miami Palmetto. Yes, we're getting into the deep Miami-Dade County coming up here on our South Florida Blitz show. We'll be right back here after a few minutes here on FloodHSFootball.com and the FloodHSFootball.com social media networks.